lately we've all been experiencing a little bit of sadness. Media constantly pushing it in your face, all these bad things happening.
All of these things are designed to capture your attention.
Something called the negativity bias.
They use the negativity bias to attract this type of attention. It's evolutionarily adaptive.
We don't deal with tigers anymore.
It's good to be aware of these things and to help out as much as we can. It's also important to be aware of what we can handle.
Within your capacity to help, or is it just something that will affect you emotionally and you won't be able to do anything other than? And we're back with another Cozy Psych episode for today. Welcome, Celina, to the camera.
Hello. You guys know what time it is.
What time is it, Celina?
What time is it? It's tea time.
It's jammy time.
It's Cozy Psych time.
It's not sponsored, by the way.
Sponsored.
It's not sponsored. Or you can sponsor us
Just
if
a
you
big
want.
old mug.
For today, we want to talk about something that's been burning on my mind for a while lately, because I think lately we've all been experiencing a little bit of sadness.
A little bit of sadness?
Maybe not, but I will say we are in a landscape that is full of war and lots of news and media constantly pushing it in your face, all these bad things happening out there, political alliances, political breakups, and politics,
people
cheating,
people,
wars,
animal abuse. Anyway, you guys get the point. And well, first of all, look, disclaimer, it's still important to be aware of these things and to be aware of the socio-political landscape, to be an informed citizen, etc. Of course,
it's still important.
It's still important.
We just have to say that.
Yes,
but also, we also want to create. That's why we created this space, which is Cozy Psych. So we're just two clinical graduate aspiring psychologists who want to talk about everyday things, pop culture, fun things, but through a psychological lens. So today, what we want to talk about is something called the negativity bias. And this is something I learned like working with psychologists, because of course I had the intern, and I also throughout my graduate experience I've been working with professional psychologists, and I was able to pick up a lot of things from them. And one of the things that really resonates, or at least stays with me the most, is really this concept of the negativity bias, because
as you mentioned, there's a lot of media, and particularly what's highlighted in media is oftentimes something very what's that word, like sensational, and also sensational in a negative way. Like all of these things are designed to capture your attention and of course, like these media, these news outlets, they need your attention to earn money. They use the negativity bias to attract this type of attention, kind of like unconsciously.
Yeah.
Right? So what is the negativity bias?
Exactly. So the negativity bias is our propensity to notice the bad things that happen around us. So it's not in itself a bad thing, because evolutionarily
and when you say notice, it's also pay attention to and even sometimes ruminate on, right?
So exactly what Celina said. We don't just notice it, we also tend to feed it. We love to feed it because there's something about fear and sadness that kind of tickles our excitement, right? Compared to feeling nothing. So there's that sense of excitement, that thrill in feeling fear and seeing these things that happen all over the globe that make us feel emotional, right? And this is something that news outlets and a lot of media out there can capitalize on, because evolutionarily, from our ancestors, we were already kind of primed to notice threats out there, because in a way it is protective.
It's evolutionarily adaptive, for especially like for humans and other animals to pay attention to threats, to run away from the wild boars and the lions.
Yeah, to
etc.,
prepare yourself.
To prepare yourself to basically promote your survival.
Yeah.
So we've carried that in our brains, in our lizard brains. Like, that's what the amygdala is for, right? It's a brain structure that is evolved, or rather,
Over
it's been
time.
one of the first brain structures of humans is that it allows us to feel fear and stores memories of fear, so that you remember something that scares you or that could potentially harm you, so that you can avoid it in the future. But again, bring that back to now. It's like
we don't deal with tigers anymore that are just roaming the streets. Nowadays, what we deal with are less physical threats and more of psychological threats, right? So, for example, when we're on our phone scrolling, we notice that a lot of the things that you see online, they can be a mixture of maybe cats, dogs, right? I love watching cat videos, but sometimes I would randomly see a video of just a child that's starving in one of those war-torn places, and it's really promoting that we help them, right?
And of course, that's important.
It's important
to do.
At the same time, imagine that there's 100 of these videos that are constantly appearing on your screen. So essentially, all these problems around the globe have entered,
are so easy for us to access,
Yeah.
and be exposed to. And I think
have
what also
entered your present.
yeah, and I feel like what you're trying to get to also is like, you also have to start to notice when it's starting to affect your emotional state. Because while it is important for us to help other people, right? Like, we can't help other people if we're like overwhelmed with sadness, with stress. So, it's good to be aware of these things and to help out as much as we can.
And also being aware of what you're capable
But it's also
doing.
aware. It's also important to be aware of what we can handle.
within your capacity to help, or is it just something that will affect you emotionally and you won't be able to do anything other than
And all you can do is like, you're paralyzed on your bed, doom scrolling, and wondering if life or the world is
falling apart.
yeah.
So that's the thing, right? That's a tendency, because there's so many of these things happening and they're all within your grasp. You essentially just feel paralyzed. Oh, well, I can't do anything. The world is falling apart.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we wanted to bring to your awareness today, because it's a real problem. Because obviously, as Celina said earlier, these media outlets, right, whether it's news, whether it's social media, they need to capture your attention. And to do that, again, what we said is we're highly attuned to negative things, to threats, because we have to be able to prepare against them. Right? My mom would sometimes send us videos of a car crash and saying, "Don't do this." I'm like, "Mom, that's not even within our location."
Yeah. So, right, it's important to be aware of these things as much as we can, to keep ourselves safe and to help keep other people safe. But you have to be, you're right. Is it within your control to do? Is it realistic to think about right now? Are you in the right headspace? You have enough space, like emotionally and mentally, to consider this. Because if we're not, then
Is
we
it
can't
within
really
your
help.
capacity to
we
do
can't really
anything?
be able to help
Everyone.
others. We can't help everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So how can we kind of counteract this negativity bias?
One, this video is exactly to help. It's really to bring awareness. I really wanted to bring awareness on that, because I think it's so important. I feel like we don't really notice how much it affects us, how much threat we constantly consume on a daily basis. Next point is really allowing yourself to notice also positive things.
Yep.
So it doesn't just have to be negative things. Allow yourself the opportunity to also notice the other side, because our world isn't just made up of negative problems, conflicts. It's also made up of various other things. For me, I personally like to notice clouds. Like, I feel like people don't notice that enough. Isn't it so fascinating how fluffy they are? They look so fluffy.
How often do we stop and admire just the little things that life has to offer, like clouds, like leaves and trees and
so
flowers,
fluffy.
and even the people who are around you, the people you love, your pets. You know, there is a lot of suffering in the world, and it's important to do our best to help as much as we can. But there's also so much joy and beauty that it would also benefit our mental
attention.
health and well-being to notice and also bask in.
Yeah.
That's why gratitude journaling has been proven to really help,
really does.
help us counteract the negativity bias. And, something as simple as in a day, at least try to point out 3 to 5 things that
you're grateful about.
For.
Like friendship.
Friendship can be besties. I have to say that every video.
Yeah, clearly. Thank you so much. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about for today. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of the negativity bias? Have you noticed that part of yourself? And what are some great things that you're grateful for today? Right? Use the comment section below as your gratitude journal. So, because sharing is caring.
And if you guys like this type of content where we just really have cozy conversations about psych-related topics through the lens of psychologists in training, then please join us here in Cozy Psych. We're going to take care of you and of each other. Come to the dark side. Bye.